10/6/2017. This is the Overdose Talk Show. Alex, good to see you, man. Why don't you come down and sit down next to me over here by the campfire. Let's have a nice little chat, why don't we?
Yeah, let me take a load off, dude. It's been a long day.
Nothing like a nice chat by the fire. Just building this fire. I'm just gonna use it to burn some books later. But for right now, we'll just have a nice relaxing little talk. When I went to this bar earlier, and I've got this T-shirt that says Haarp, Haarp, Haarp. You know, like weather control shit.
Like the weather program.
Ain't just another place that won't let Jesse Ventura come into their facility, even though he's been a governor somewhere at some time. What kind of credentials would someone need? Fucking asshole. Yeah, so I got this Haarp shirt on, and this guy's like, hey, Haarp. And I was like, yeah, Haarp. And he's like, they're responsible for all these hurricanes. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I can't pretend to understand it that well, but I do know some stuff about it, and that's the thing, he was totally convinced of, but it is interesting, some of the technology that's out there that they could use to control the weather. Speaking of which, we got a hurricane coming our way. You never want to see this picture that I'm looking at right now of a fucking giant red blob swirl going right for where you live. That's never a good image.
What category we got looking right now?
I don't know. Right now, I don't think it's even a full-blown hurricane.
Talk to me. Come on.
So this is Tropical Storm Nate. It already went through, I guess, some of Central America. Where it went through Cozumel, Mexico, and killed, I guess, 22 people. Yeah. This is not looking. This is not looking good. So supposedly, by the time it hits the northern Gulf coast, and supposedly it's on track to hit somewhere near New Orleans, it's going to be hurricane strength at that time.
Mexico can't catch a break because, like, mainland, they've got all the cartel problems, and then in these areas that are just tourism, you get fucking hurricanes.
Yeah, they're fucked. Puerto Rico's fucked.
It sucks.
Everybody's fucked. A lot of fucking hurricanes, huh? Yeah.
I gotta be honest though, like, they don't freak me out very much.
I don't know. Well, yeah, because I'll just like drive my car north if anything goes too bad. But there's you gotta think about places where people are either don't have cars for whatever reason or too poor to have cars and shit. Like people talk about Katrina. There's always also another thing about New Orleans though that I don't know if a lot of people realize is, like, in a lot of places I'm sure you get like hurricane warnings a lot and nothing usually ever happens. So then that one time, right. Not only do you have a lot of people who are really poor, and what was it? Remember when Wolf Blitzer was reporting on Katrina, and he was like, and they are so poor and so black. You remember that?
No, but there were so many great things about the Katrina, like clips, because I immediately thought of the Kanye thing.
Oh yeah, that was a great week of media. If anything, if there was any positive to take from it, but yeah. But so anyways, there's that's a lot of people are too poor, but then there's also the fact that, like, a lot of people just don't take it seriously because you're like, yeah, I've heard this before. Nothing ever happens. Fuck it.
That was everyone's attitude in the South that I felt like, because the hurricane was possibly gonna hit us. We were right at the edge, and everyone's like, yeah, whatever.
Plus,
I'm like,
the media hypes this stuff like it's crazy. I've had people. There have been times where people have called me from Chicago, like, "Hey, are you guys okay?" And I'm like, "Why? What's going on?" And they're like, "Oh, it's like a hurricane." And I'm like, "Dude, it's not even fucking drizzling. I don't even know about it, because I don't have television or anything. So unless I go look stuff up, I'm not gonna see anything."
Yeah, I did that to you one time, and you said your sister had already called you an ass, and like now I just never ask anymore. Excuse me.
Wait.
Never ask anymore because it's I figure if it's bad, you'll get out of there.
Individuals continuing to do what we've been seeing for days now, simply walking through the water. We have to assume it's disgusting water and rapidly becoming disease-filled water, just trying to get to some location with what meager possession they have. We see that picture over and over and over again. As much as you see that picture, though, you simply get chills every time you see these poor individuals. As Jack Cafferty just pointed out, so tragically, so many of these people, almost all of them that we see, are so poor and they are so black, and this is going to raise lots of questions for people who are watching this story unfold.
Yeah, that's.
I was about to harp on you for playing a shitty clip, but that was really good.
Yeah, there's a payoff. It's just because you know what he means. Is like he means like so many of them are black. I don't even know why he's pointing that out. It's kind of just an awkward thing to do in general, but they're so black. Yeah. And he says it. He commits to it too. That's the best part about it. He was completely in the groove there. Totally
black.
Sure. Oops,
and this is going to raise all of them that we see are so poor and they are so black, and this is going to raise lots.
Oh man, that's one of my favorites. All right. Anyways. The media, like I was saying before, they'll always hype this shit like crazy. So then you also get desensitized to it. Yeah, you're just like, yeah, they always say this fucking shit.
Dude, there is something creepy about thermal image colors, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So when you see the storm forming and it's got the eye, it is just creepy, especially if you know it's coming towards you.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. There is sometimes when a huge storm, you get that creepy stillness too, right before it. And then
dude, yeah.
It comes. Oh shit! You know what? We should get out of here.
Let's at least get inside, because
hurricanes are brewing. Storms are coming in. Let's roll.
Should we put out the fire?
I'm already walking away, apparently.
All right. Well,
here you
go out.
You put the fire out, okay?
All right.
There you go. Just pour extra water on it. And,
get every last bit.
Okay, and it's out. Stop pouring that. There you go. Okay.
Well, yeah. I don't want to be. Wasn't trying to be wasteful. It just kept coming out.
Technically, we're not inside yet either. There we go. Now we're inside.
There we go. Yeah. Screen door. Are we just gonna leave the screen door?
So one of the alright, enough. Here's what I thought of too. Immediately when this guy down in the bar was talking about Haarp, I do remember this weather treaty, and it was the Environmental Modification Convention. The Environmental Modification Convention, formerly the Convention on the Prohibition of Military or any other hostile use of environmental modification techniques, which, you know, you could call weather weapons, some people say, or whatever. And yeah, this is I don't know really how it works. I don't know that too many people do really understand stuff like this. But yeah, apparently there were enough countries that were concerned that other governments had the ability to control the fucking weather in 1977 that, you know, they found it necessary to kind of draw this treaty. That's creepy, isn't it?
Yeah. So basically, they either thought or they knew that somebody was able to do this. Because, I mean, maybe they were getting there and someone was like, yeah, the Russians were like, yeah, we could do this. And so then they just signed a treaty.
I got a list of all the countries that are involved. Afghanistan, Algeria. This is a long list, actually. I'll just hit some key ones. Canada's in there. Chile, Brazil, China, Cuba, Czech Republic, Egypt, Germany, the U.S., India, Ireland, Italy. You know what I mean? This is a lot of ones you heard of. Isn't it fucking amazing when you see a long list of countries, how many of them you've never thought of or heard of? Like, what the fuck is this one? Mauritius? I can't see. I don't have my glasses.
Oh, yeah,
Mauritius. You know anything about this place?
Yeah, I've been there.
French. Maurice. I don't know. Officially the Republic of whatever the fuck how you say it, is an island nation in the Indian Ocean, about 2,000 kilometers off the southwest coast of the African continent. Huh, see? Who knew? Anyways, Apparently, all these governments were convinced enough of the existence of this technology that they have this treaty basically.
I'm in the camp that thinks it exists.
Yeah, why wouldn't it? The world is so goddamn weird.
Well, then, yeah. So why are there so many hurricanes hitting?
Well, it could. I mean, who knows? None of us fucking. People like to talk about stuff like this the same way people talk about global warming. And I swear to God, 98% of people on either side have no fucking idea what they're talking about because it's really complicated, scientifically speaking. And I'm not saying I don't know. Who knows, Alex? It's interesting though, isn't it? I think this treaty is kind of like, to me, just one of those things that's like really hard to dance around it or explain it away. Like, why the fuck does this treaty exist?
Right. Or like, well, yeah, why hasn't anyone come out with an answer on it? I'd like to know.
Well, I mean, the answer is that there's fucking weather weapon technology. Of course. Environmental modification technique includes any technique for changing through the deliberate manipulation of natural processes, the dynamics, composition, or structure of the Earth, including its biota, lithosphere, hydrosphere, and atmosphere, or of outer space.
I do wonder
that's a serious law. That's like a serious thing to enter into. Like, man, that's no fucking around with like soda tax kind of bullshit. This is like where government gets really creepy. Like, Jesus.
Yeah, I do wonder the extent of this these machines' powers.
Yeah, isn't it still a little bit hard to believe? I don't know. I could be wrong, but isn't it kind of hard to believe that they can, I could believe maybe that's something they could influence a situation, but like, there's people out there that look at it like, oh, they can just create a hurricane and just aim it wherever they want, and that sounds so far-fetched to me still. Oh yeah. Well, anyways, I don't know if we're gonna. They're mandatorily evacuating certain parts of the city, New Orleans already. And then I read, so there's a curfew that's gonna go in place tomorrow, at 6 p.m. So you're literally not allowed to like walk down the street at that point, and everything goes on lockdown. I didn't believe this when I was like 18 and I first moved here. I was like, they can't do that. Like, fuck it, I'm going out. And the cops stopped me. I was only walking like 4 blocks, and the cop comes by like, hey, you're not allowed to walk down the street right now. I'm like, is this real? For real? Wow, okay. And so yeah, and then they're like barricading and closing off any kind of like under bridge area that you typically would get flooded and people would get stuck and shit. And and they're barricading like the off ramps and stuff. I'm like, so you're telling me like, if shit, or the on-ramps, I'm sorry, to like get the fuck out of here, so I'm like, you pretty much have to make your decision before 6 o'clock tomorrow if you want to go, I guess.
Yeah, and it is like there's people that go, and there's people that they never leave when hurricanes come through.
Yeah,
they just stay.
I mean, yeah, a lot of people.
I think they call themselves hermits.
A lot of people don't have the money to go get a hotel and find transportation and blah blah blah,
right.
or it's kind of expensive. But yeah, so in the past, I have fucked around during. I one time looted during a hurricane, and I don't really want to tell the whole story. But
now you have to.
No, I really can't.
You have to tell the whole story right now.
No, I don't have to. I can tell you little parts of it that it involved. I don't know. It involved. We did it like fucking super. We were like 18. Okay, I wouldn't do something like this these days, of course. But we were nuts, And we decided that we ran out of cigarettes during a hurricane, and everything was on lockdown. There's no way to get anything, and so we decided we would do this whole like Mission Impossible like sort of spy mission to steal cigarettes from somewhere. Okay, and it involved clipping, like climbing onto a roof, and yeah, that's about all I should say, I think. Right?
Yeah, I guess you could leave it at that.
This was like 15 years ago, and not my proudest moment, But yeah, so we ended up stealing some cigarettes. Anyways.
Cigarettes, I guess. Oh well. You want to know how dedicated I am to the show?
How?
I just pissed out my window during that story.
Did you really?
Yeah.
A second floor window?
Yeah.
Onto what? A driveway?
Grass. It's in between.
Grass?
Houses. Yeah.
Do you have neighbors with windows facing you?
All their lights. Yeah, but all their lights are off.
Oh, good.
No.
So you know how when the light's off, you can't see out the windows anymore. Yeah, definitely.
Well,
that's
my
good.
light's off.
Okay. We used to do a lot of fun stuff during the hurricanes when we were young and fucking crazy. Like, I remember floating around on air mattresses. We just blew up air mattresses really big and just took them like rafts, just floated down the street and shit, and we kind of rode our way around the neighborhood. It was pretty fun. I don't know.
Yeah.
You can have some fun if you don't care about anything. Now I'm too old to do stuff like that. I'm just like, oh, let's go get a hotel and fucking drink.
I lean on the get a hotel and drink decisions more now.
You're a lot younger than me, but you're catching up quick.
I'm catching up quick, like
due to your poor lifestyle and health decisions.
A couple years ago, like I actually went to music festivals and concerts and stuff. I don't care at all now about most of them. Like I'd like to go to a show every once in a while, and I will if it's a good one. You know, like we went to see Beck.
Who wants to do that shit? I hate.
But honestly, I hated the festival.
I'll see like little shows. You know, maybe up to around like 200-300 people, something like that.
I missed a really good show because it was a Thievery Corporation in a club tonight, a small club, and
Thievery Corporation. They're boring anyways. Dude, who cares?
That was the best show I ever saw.
Was it?
But I was peaking on acid during it, so that might have something to do with it. But it was very cool.
Yeah, I also actually if I had to tell you
and saw Chance the Rapper, and it made me go from loving him to hating him. I despise him now.
Yeah, Chance the Rapper. I've seen some of his live videos, and it just looks terrible. Like the performance is awful.
He's a terrible performer. He's a studio rapper.
Yes, which is fine. You know, his shit is usually pretty cool, but
unique.
Whatever. Anyways, I was gonna say if you had to ask me my favorite concert experience ever, which you do have to right now.
Yeah, what was your favorite concert experience ever?
I was also on a lot of acid. It was.
Imagine that.
Yeah, Medeski, Martin and Wood in the year 2002.
Really?
Yeah, Medeski, Martin and Wood at Tipitina's Uptown here in New Orleans. I think I took 4 hits of acid, which
what?
Yeah, well, because I used to do a lot of acid. I was doing and I didn't know the guy that I got this. Well, I knew the guy, but I didn't really know where the acid came from or what it was going to be like, and I didn't want to get one of those shitty half trips, and so I just wanted to make absolutely sure that it was going down, and boy, did it. I remember that being like, dude, it was like one of those life-changing moments where it kind of redefined what I thought music could even be. Like, I had never even kind of thought or pictured of music this way before. Thought or pictured music.
I've had that. I remember one time where I started hearing, like, things in a song that I like, and I was like, I heard the song before, and I was like, I've never heard that there before. And it, like, changed how I think I perceived, like, audio. It was a weird. Maybe I was really high.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I was on a lot of acid, but it did. I don't know. I've always thought back about that show as being kind of my favorite live performance ever.
That's cool. I mean, this.
Oh,
band,
you know what? Too. The whole thing. Sorry to cut you off, but the whole thing was like this spiritual, like awakening, like mind blowing experience.
Yeah.
And then when the show was over, the first thing I heard was these 2 girls behind me talking, and this one girl just goes, "Well, do you want to stay here? Just go to a different bar." And I was like, "What the fuck?" It just like crashed me back down to like, how did everyone not just have the same experience as me? Oh my god, do you not have any idea? And then I was sitting in the parking lot outside, like just like on the ground in the middle of the parking lot, like, Indian style, just smoking cigarettes for like 3 hours. Like, oh my god,
Dude, actually, now I remember like a lot more of the story at that concert, the Thievery Corporation, because I was on acid, a ton of it. I'd taken 2 hits, and like I wanted more, so from a random guy, I took one, and he wouldn't even allow me to give him money, and it was
Probably
like,
thought you were a cop.
It was really fucking strong, and so I go to the concert. I'm in the front row. It's fucking great, and then at the end of it, I just like turned to the person next to me. I was like, "That was fucking awesome!" And like start talking to a group of people, and they're like, "What are you doing now?" I'm like, "I don't know. I guess going back to my camp." And they're like, "Dude, come to the VIP." And I'm like, "Well, I can't get in." They're like, let's try to sneak you in. Like, let's just go for it. And the one dude walks me like all the way around the back entrance, and we get there, and he's like, "Yeah, they haven't even been checking wristbands here. You're fine." And I get there, and there's a guy.
Can I tell you something? Okay.
Yeah.
Here's how you should have told this. I was at this concert, met some people. They tried to sneak me into the VIP, and that's where we should be right now. This was the worst told, most boring story of all time. Come on.
Sorry, I got really high while we were sitting by the campfire, and I.
Well, let's go. Come on.
Okay, back up. I actually also snuck into the after show after the Thievery Corporation show with a piece of paper, a blank piece of paper as my ticket, and then I met those people at that after show, and they stuck me into VIP.
Oh my
I
God.
walked in and just held up my wrist, and I was like, "Sup," and I got in, and then I met like all the fucking artists that I had seen that weekend in VIP, and it was really cool.
Okay.
Fuck off.
We'll be back on the Overdose. Just a minute.
What the hell was that?
Alright, I'm back on the Overdose Talk Show. I got my friend Alex on the phone.
What's up?
I feel like we sound dumb tonight. What the hell was that story about?
I don't know. Like, I completely missed the bread and butter of the whole story, and
I don't even know what the hell you were talking about. I was just zoning out. Why didn't you just say I was once at a concert and snuck into the VIP area? And then you could start the story like that and go, "Oh, and then I met this guy and this happened." But by the time you even got to where you were hanging out with cool people, it just was just so weird and boring.
I know. Like, it was leading to, like, me hanging out with all these cool artists and shit, and it was cool. Like, but I just fucked up the story because, I don't know, I think I got really high, and that kind of snapped me out of it. I got really, really stoned.
And now you're just trying to justify it and explain it. Why are we spending more time on this? This is horrible.
This is horrible. I apologize to anyone who is still listening.
Thanks
to
for
the show.
calling in. I gotta let you go. Okay.
All right.
I'll talk to you later.
All right. Bye.
That was Alex on the phone. Yeah, I don't know what the hell we're doing. Alex, you back on the show?
Yeah. Who were you just talking to?
That was you.
Oh, what did I say?
You're just talking some bullshit about why your stupid boring story wasn't boring or something. I wasn't really listening. I don't know.
Yeah.
Did you hear Ralphie May died?
You told me that earlier. Yeah.
Is this true? If it's on TMZ,
I'm not surprised.
It's on TMZ, and weirdly, they're probably a pretty credible source for something like this, right?
Well, they do follow the celebrities around more than any other news organization.
Ralphie died at a private residence in Vegas Friday morning. We're told he has been battling pneumonia for 6 weeks and died of cardiac arrest. Yeah, I mean, he was a big fat slob. I don't know how.
He was so fucking fat.
Yeah.
How fat was he?
Yeah, he was. He
was really fat, dude.
He was alarmingly fat, yeah. Like, to where it's not even fun to joke about. Just like, dude, you need to do something. I was never a big fan of Ralphie May. I don't know. I don't really think he's very funny. Do you?
I never enjoyed any of his comedy, honestly.
Yeah.
But
he's got that whole kind of like wigger vibe thing going on. It's kind of annoying.
Yeah. And he's so fat that he doesn't need the internet because he's already worldwide.
Yeah. Hold on, I pulled some of his shit up.
Man, you know what I'm saying? For real, that's from the heart. Do you hear? I got a lot of flavor for a white boy. That's why they put me on the show. I got a lot of flavor for a white boy. It's because I'm from the South.
I was Patrice O'Neal.
And I mean, I'm real Southern.
Congratulations.
I'm real Southern. I was born in Tennessee, raised in Arkansas, moved to Texas when I was 18. Shit, I'm my own cousin.
It's cheesy, right?
But unlike a lot of white folks
really
from the South
bad
who
in
won't
my
admit it, though,
opinion.
I'll tell you the truth. I got some black blood in me. What's up?
Oh my God.
Yeah, I wish I got that.
Is he
big
doing
dick.
that
That'd
bit?
have been cool. You heard? That'd have been cool. Yeah, instead I got bad credit. Ain't that a bitch? That's how it goes.
Is that
That's
still
how it
him?
goes. Either big dick or bad credit
Wow.
every time.
Why does he do that
And a couple of
voice?
sickle cells is bad.
I don't know.
Actually, you know,
I didn't get
honestly,
the magic stick.
some white people just do
I can
sound
hit it
like
once,
that.
I can't hit
Yeah.
it
They
twice.
can't help it.
Nah, I know. He might not be phony or whatever. He's just annoying.
I ain't gonna lie to you.
Anyway, so he's fucking
He's
dead.
dead. I'm not surprised.
Yeah. Who else died? Somebody else died.
Hugh Hefner died.
Oh, yeah. What'd you think about that? You got a hot take on that one?
I noticed that like older women I knew were like kind of bummed out, like, oh,
Yeah.
we lost somebody, and I was like, it just confused. I just didn't think that women were big supporters of Hugh Hefner.
I don't know.
Apparently,
A lot of people view Hugh Hefner as being responsible for, like, you know, a lot of sexual liberation and removing some of the religious stigma and stuff like that and making it a more free, open sexual society and a lot of, you know what I mean? That's kind of the old...
Sure.
But then I've seen a lot of women like, oh, he was a misogynist and a this and a that. Well, yeah, dude, he's a fucking guy that my whole life has been old as shit and just lives with a bunch of fucking hot broads in a giant mansion and throws big extravagant parties. Oh, you think he might be a little bit old school when it comes to women? What the fuck do you expect? You know what I mean?
right? Yeah,
I don't know what people want from the guy. Made a lot of money.
I don't know.
He ripped off Marilyn Monroe. Did you know about that story?
No.
He bought yeah, this is what I heard. Okay. She had done some nude photos, I guess, like before she was real famous, and to make some money for something. And after she got famous, he found out or tracked it down or whatever, and bought the rights to the photos and published them in Playboy without ever even talking to her about it or anything. And you know, of course, didn't do the right thing and throw her a few bones, you know.
Are they the ones with the red background?
I don't think they ever even met. This is just a thing I heard. All right, that's what somebody was talking to me about the other
I
day.
immediately looked up. I googled nude Marilyn Monroe.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah.
How does it look?
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. Like Marilyn Monroe was such like a huge sensation back then. Now she's just like, compared to like fucking some of the girls walking around now, she's just pretty good. But like, there's girls walking around your street and anywhere that are hotter than Marilyn Monroe these days.
For some reason, I find like the young Stevie Nicks to be fucking sexy.
Why? Really?
I don't know why. Maybe because she was just weird. Like, because I watched interviews of her when she was like 18, 21.
I'm looking up pictures of her. Yeah, I mean, she's pretty hot. Yeah.
Like, you got to see her and like look up interview.
Not bad. I don't know, but there's hotter girls than her.
I know.
All
but she
over the
was,
place.
Like,
there's probably 3 downstairs right now.
oh, I know. I know. But I'm just like, Marilyn Monroe's not that much hotter than her.
Okay, I guess. I don't know.
I think we need to talk about Operation Mockingbird.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Can we, because I bring it up to people and nobody has ever heard of Operation Operation Mockingbird.
Yeah,
like when I get in an argument and it has like something to do with about like fake news and CNN and stuff, or Anderson Cooper, like one of the essential questions I ask them is, have you ever heard of Operation Mockingbird? And of course they haven't.
Which was a large-scale program that the CIA began in the early 50s and attempted to manipulate news media for propaganda purposes. Like, you don't know that, you know. But,
right.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know the name of it or whatever. It funded student and cultural organizations and magazines as front organizations. According to writer Deborah Davis, Mockingbird recruited leading American journalists into a propaganda network and oversaw the operations of front groups. CIA support of front groups was exposed after a 1967 Ramparts magazine article reported that the National Student Association received funding from the CIA. So yeah, it's a lot of stuff like that.
Right, and then there's, you know, news organizations that get grants and stuff from the government. There's people like Anderson Cooper from CNN who went straight from the CIA to CNN, if I'm correct. And
he wasn't. He wasn't
something before that.
He was in some program that the CIA funded or something like that, or he interned for something. I forget what the story was, but he had some connection to the CIA. He wasn't like a known CIA operative.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the Alex Jones thing, though, where you just go. And, you know, straight out of the CIA to the what? It's like, okay.
Yeah, all right. I got to be more careful of that.
Okay, so this says, after the Watergate scandal, the U.S. Congress became concerned over possible presidential abuse of the CIA. There used to be, I guess, some decent fucking Congress people out there. I haven't seen stuff like that in my lifetime where they would call any attention to that whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, are there any people in Congress or the House that you know of that you...
I don't know.
Because
there's probably somebody. I don't really care. Because they're not going to make any difference. We're all going to hell. There's nothing stopping it. The U.S. Okay, yeah. You think they should be concerned over possible presidential abuse of the CIA when they just killed the president 10 years before that, and then were just used as a fucking assassin squad, basically. Jesus Christ, this country is an embarrassment. A wide range of CIA operations were examined in these investigations, including CIA ties with journalists, numerous private voluntary organizations. None of the resulting reports, however, refer to an Operation Mockingbird. Yeah, okay, whatever. Basically saying on Wikipedia that it's not confirmed to be a real thing, but it's widely speculated and believed. Okay, you just sent me a video. What is it?
CNN's Anderson Cooper admits working for the CIA. Operation Mockingbird asset exposed.
Pull this up.
But the only thing is, it's a Mark Dice video.
I hate Mark Dice.
He's the worst.
Cooper,
dude.
the face of CNN, has a secret. No, not that secret. Everybody in the television industry pretty much knows that he is gay.
Wow.
So's Don Lemon at CNN, by the way. We're talking about his CIA secret. Few people know that for 2 summers during college, not 1, but 2, he interned with the Central Intelligence Agency.
Okay, so yeah, he was an intern there.
That's right. Right there in Langley, Virginia. Oh, it was for a program for students interested in intelligent work. That's right. Few people know.
Well, and he shouldn't have gone into the media.
Little-known article prompting Anderson Cooper to post on his blog denying that they had their facts straight, but admitting that he did, in fact, intern with the CIA. Do I need to remind you about Operation Mockingbird, the admitted, authentic CIA program that was uncovered?
No, we were just talking about it, in fact.
1975.
Yeah, you don't need to remind us.
Confirmed that the CIA was paying $1 billion a year in today's dollars to almost all major heads, editors, reporters.
Yeah, even if they don't call it Mockingbird or they deny the existence of that program, they have been caught a bunch of times funding media. So whatever. It's just part of our lives here in the land of the free.
But I hope there's never a time where the amount of people that know about it are like 10.
What?
Like, you know, like we're like we're like the general population. There's not people that know about it like us. Like we can talk about this with people. Like eventually, maybe they'll achieve their goal. That's all.
Sorry, that was great. Yeah, that would be bad, wouldn't it?
It would.
If there was no fucking stoner retards babbling about this on YouTube anymore, and no pompous fucking what even is? How do you even describe Mark Dice? He's just such a jerk.
He's like a jerk. Yeah, is a good word.
Yeah. He's kind of a prick, you know.
And he's very.
Don't you think he's like what you think of when you think somebody's a prick? It's like, oh, sure. You fucking smarmy, fucking arrogant prick.
Like, quick look at him, you think like, oh, maybe like law enforcement or CIA, but you talk to him and he's such a pussy. Sure,
right, yeah. I feel like I could beat him up with like an umbrella, no problem.
I know,
like something not even that heavy.
He frames himself as like this big tough guy, and I'm not buying it.
He would be one of those nerds to go to like jiu-jitsu every fucking, you know.
Yeah, probably.
3 nights or whatever, do fucking taekwondo.
Maybe. But one of the things I hate the most is when he's like reading from a liberal publication.
Oh, I know.
He'll put on those glasses with the tape around him, and he does this lisp voice. Ugh. Do you know what I'm talking? Yeah. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, dude. I hate.
It's the worst.
I don't understand how so many people that used to be anti-left-right paradigm just fully went back into it. You know, it happened to so much of what used to be like the truth movement or something. It really is fucking irritating. And people are still out there, like Donald Trump hasn't made it obvious at this point that he's not your friend if you're into liberty. You know, like it's pretty obvious. He's not gonna save everybody like people hoped. If your biggest fucking concern in life is that immigrants have a harder time, okay, then fine. I guess you're happy with this. You know, what is going on that people are still supporting this guy so much?
Dude, honestly, like, I want to announce on the show that I am hanging on by a thread with this
Alex
guy.
Voted for Donald Trump. He really saw a lot of hope and promise there. And
honestly, I kind of did it as a symbolic thing. I knew Hillary would win Illinois. So I knew it. In that case, my vote really didn't matter.
Sure.
But I wanted to just do it just so people could see that there were people that thought that way here. And I saw it as a possibility that it's okay. So either one, he's the real deal and he's anti-New World Order, or two, it shakes up the system. And It looks like it's probably turning out to be two.
I don't know. I kind of look at it like they keep, like I've said this 100 times, they keep finding new ways to try to convince you somebody is an outsider that isn't. You know, like Obama was something new. I don't know exactly why. He was a politician and a community organizer and stuff. I mean,
his parents worked for the government.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't really get it, but still, even George Bush Jr. basically ran on the idea that he was the new thing. He wasn't one of these stuffy Washington politician guys. He was Midland, Texas, just like y'all, you know.
Yeah. What?
And it's always a scam, you know. He fucking grew up in Connecticut. You know, he talks at that fucking, and he walks around like a cowboy. Like he was just clearly just a doofus actor, you know, like just the. But
many of them are, yeah.
Yeah, he was the most clear and obvious puppet of anybody. I felt like, where it just didn't even seem like he really knew.
So?
A lot of times, I was suspicious at the time of whether how dumb he acted was an act or not. Like I thought that. Basically,
Bush, right?
Yeah, Bush Jr. And I thought at the time, like, this can't even be real. He's got to be acting this way on purpose, basically, so people will talk about that or criticize him about that and spend all their time. Because you should have seen, you were pretty young back then, but, like, Democrats back then were fucking obsessed with George Bush Jr. It's all they fucking talked about. and all the dumb things he said. They were making books of
right.
all the shit he said wrong and all that shit. It was just
it's no different than now.
Basically, yeah. And I was like, only it was at that time it was more just making fun of him for being an idiot, not being a pussy grabber. Hey,
yeah,
lick it, don't grab it. Or those fucking signs. Anyways,
not any of those girls who would be holding those signs.
Yeah.
Definitely not.
At the time, I remember thinking, like, this can't even be real. He's just doing this as a way of seeming less dangerous or something. You know,
Right.
That's a classic tactic. You know,
That's what I thought about Trump. Like, that's why I think he makes himself try. Like, he tries to sound stupid. Mm-hmm. I think that's just his.
Guy's a fucking asshole. I'm willing to say it at this point. I mean,
yeah.
We all thought it was hilarious for a long time, and at this point, it just is becoming obvious. He's just a fucking spoiled brat who got old. That's kind of what I'm starting to view him as. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like it's been kind of weird with like the vendettas he had with those two talk show hosts, like Morning Joe and that one chick.
I mean, it was fine years ago when he was just a fucking media personality, when he would he would make fun of Rosie O'Donnell and stuff. I mean, whatever, but like, it's like, dude, do you never stop? You really start to think of him as just really just petty and immature. It gets annoying,
It makes me question, like because I heard once that he doesn't believe in exercise because you only have so much energy in the day, and that should be spent doing mental stuff for him. Now, he spends a lot of time over
signing executive
bullshit.
orders. It takes a lot of energy. Sign 700 executive orders in a day.
But he spends a lot of time in his day over like this stupid petty little feuds.
Right. It's just weird. And I don't even have this illusion of like, oh, I want someone to act presidential. That means nothing to me. That basically means being fake and
that's why
guarded.
I like him.
I know. But now so while that was refreshing, he has exposed enough of his personality that I now don't like him again. Did you ever? Here's the thing: people think of him in a way now that he basically ran like a statesman, campaign and a grassroots thing in a way. I'm sure a lot of money was spent, but I guess I mean grassroots in that the media tried to make it seem illegitimate in every way, and the way he became a serious candidate was people talking to each other about it and saying, why not? People think of him in that way now, but like, could you ever imagine having an opinion on this fucking guy like 5 years ago at all? You're just like, oh yeah, that fucking guy that says you're fired and is kind of an asshole, whatever,
Honestly, yeah, before it happened, had you asked me about him ever running, like, just say like, let's go through this hypothetical scenario, I would have no opinion. I'd be like, I don't know, it'd be really weird. I couldn't picture it.
He was just such a who cares kind of background to people like us. Maybe if you're from New York, it's different or something, or I don't know, or if you watch that show, which I never did, but to us, it was just always sort of one of thousands of celebrities that have been shoved in front of us over and over, and it was just, there was nothing particularly remarkable about him to me. But now people think of him in this whole other light, of course, as would be natural. But, it's funny to remember just a few years ago, he was just really, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
It's like, it's so
and
fucking strange.
And now everyone really gives a shit.
Yeah. Now you got, Kid Rock running for Senate and all kinds of weird shit going on.
I'm more excited to see that play out than this.
Oh, he's a moron.
I know, but hey, when we first talked about it, you were like, yeah, but he's always been a champion of the people.
There was stuff about him that I liked, but that doesn't mean he understands government, or would agree with me about government. But he did stuff like he had a whole tour where what?
No, I was gonna. Okay, sorry. Yeah, he did the whole.
Yeah,
tour.
no. Just why not just interrupt?
I'm sorry to cut you off, buddy. Go ahead.
Yeah. So so he did this whole tour where I think he locked ticket prices at $20, and I guess pissed a lot of people off and whatever. And he's like, "Look, we're gonna have to make it work for that because it's gotten ridiculous." Like, he's like, "I'm kind of sick of playing for only people that can afford to spend $140 tonight with parking and fucking food and drinks and everything else." Like, he's like, "I would like to have a concert for kind of regular people that are my supporters, So I thought that was cool.
Yeah. I mean that's a cool thing to do. I've never been a huge fan of his music. I find it corny.
Yes, it is. It isn't very good, is it?
Sorry, I interrupted before. But what I was gonna say, buddy, was, what do you think about The Rock saying he's seriously thinking about running 2020?
Again, like I would have with Donald Trump, nothing. Who gives a shit about that guy? I don't have any idea.
But
I've never watched wrestling. I've never fucking. I don't care. Sorry.
Let me. What do you assume his politics are?
I don't know. I want to listen to Kid Rock. Oh God, this is horrible.
What do you assume?
Whoa, listen to this. It's like country auto-tune. Hold on. What's going on here?
Is this actually him?
Yes.
Okay, but I heard
Holy Christ. I mean, his old shit was at least kind of funky, whatever. God damn, this is awful.
It's just like MILFs, like moms love him.
Oh, this video's awful too. He's walking around in his fucking stupid pimp coat. He's wearing a pimp coat in 2017.
He's really an asshole, actually. I wouldn't vote for the guy.
Oh, he's just walking down Bourbon Street. Oh, that's awesome, bro.
Oh, wait, never mind. He's cool.
Yeah. Oh, he's riding the streetcar. That might look like New Orleans too. Wow. Now I like him. Look, he's a man of the people. He's shaking hands with everybody.
Oh,
what a terrible fucking song.
Find a good song. What's a good song?
I don't know. Plus, now we're gonna get hit with a copyright thing, probably.
Yeah. Let's maybe stop there.
Yeah.
No, but this is about The Rock. I assumed he'd be kind of a lefty, but apparently he's like real libertarian and.
Yeah, well, a lot of those wrestlers are like that because they're like extremely dedicated, hardworking, really had to sacrifice a ton to like. I don't know if you ever heard stories about like coming up through the wrestling industry. There's some crazy shit. It's just like low rent, middle of nowhere entertainment that travels and they get into all kinds of weird fucking shit and problems and stuff. And like, yeah, I think a lot of those guys are not too into giving anything away.
Yeah. And I have heard The Rock's personal story.
Yeah.
Like, are you kind of familiar with it?
No.
Or no?
Don't care.
Okay, so he was born like in poverty, really poor. And
where's that? What state is that in? A state of degradation to the infrastructure of that community. That's what I would say.
Quit chipping me. And
Okay,
he worked his way up like he worked really hard to get to where he's gotten. I mean, he's just I don't know. He's considered the hardest working guy in show business. And
right. That's James Brown.
Look at his biography. What?
That's James Brown.
Well, is he alive?
That was what they used to call him.
Okay. Well, that's what they call The Rock now. But he really did like come from nothing to like now he's extremely successful. Unlike Donald Trump, who didn't come from.
I know, I like how people try to downplay it. They're like, "Oh, well, he only got $10 million from his dad." It's like, okay, well, I mean, that's kind of a lot. That's.
Well, I thought he said the number was 1, and then I heard that it was actually 2. Whatever.
All me and Alex got is a propensity for addiction and short tempers from our dads.
Yeah. And damaged lungs. If somebody handed me $1 million, I don't know if I would have done as well as Donald Trump has done with it.
Yeah, maybe not. Still, but
you know.
it's like that's one of the things that I was saying when he was running for president. We're not going to get a candidate that lives in the same country that we do. It's just not happening. You know, like he doesn't live in the same United States as us. He never fucking has.
The Rock would. I mean, like a couple months ago, when I heard that The Rock was running, or maybe it was after the election, I was like, fuck that. I would never, like an actor, really. But, like, he really did come up from nothing. I don't know how intelligent he is, though. I need to find that out. And I don't really care about presidents anymore.
Yeah,
fuck this.
I think I'm out of
anarcho-capitalism.
I think I'm out of the next election. I don't think I want to even take part in it whatsoever. I don't think I'm going to run either. A lot of people ask me out there if I'm going to run for president next time.
Yeah.
I didn't get any votes this time, so fuck all of you. I checked.
Rigged,
I got none.
I'm done. Yeah, I think I'm done too.
And the worst, I spent $180,000 on a campaign manager and all this shit. Not one fucking vote. I feel like a lonely, desolate Kid Rock walking down an empty Bourbon Street in some of the worst footage of anything that I've ever seen.
Are you still playing Kid Rock?
That was the end of that song. Yeah, I kind of meant to. I kind of meant to take us to break with that, but whatever. It didn't work out. We'll just do this. Hey, back in a minute on the Overdose Talk Show. All right, we're back on the Overdose Talk Show. I totally forgot that we haven't addressed what's gone on with a few of our recent videos about gang stalking, the topic of gang stalking.
Oh, yes.
Actually, this kind of freaked us out. This was a weird fucking experience.
Very, very weird couple of weeks for us.
Yeah, it was, just the weird, here's what's weird about it. We said in the beginning of our first video about gang stalking, which is, if you didn't see it or whatever, this is, I swear to God, I don't know of a better way to describe it than people thinking that everyone around them is stalking them for the purpose of driving them insane. And people will say, well, people will like deface my property and do this and that. They attribute everything that ever happens to them to this phenomenon of gang stalking. And it's really a haven of just self-obsessed schizophrenics for the most part, as far as we can tell. So, I mean, we made fun of a bunch of these videos, and it got a huge reaction. It has way more downvotes than upvotes, because, you know, who watches these videos are people that this is the thing. They're so dogmatic and so fucking rigid about what they say. Like we said in the beginning of the fucking video, we understand that, like, there are psyop tactics like this out there, and we understand there is weird, like, voice-to-skull technology and things like that. And so we would get all these comments like, oh, you guys don't know anything, you know, look this up, it exists, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, we fucking said that, but we're saying it's not real what's happening here on YouTube, where people are literally just filming fucking nothing and going, oh, look at all this. It's mesmerizing. It's creepy. We've talked about it. Whatever. And so
we spent a lot of time talking about how it is legitimate. We talked about specific things, but you have to understand, this is a reaffirming community of people, and they all put these videos out, and then they all comment on each other's stuff, and they watch it, and they pray for each other. They basically,
they reaffirm each other's paranoia and build each other up and kind of just validate like a lot of really weird delusions for each other. You know, we have spent hours and hours and hours and hours looking at these fucking videos, trying to find any one of these people that has anything even out of the ordinary to show you. I mean, you're talking about, here, look at how a car drove by my house. It's fucking, it's priceless. I mean, it really is. Like, I still find it kind of entertaining and perplexing and just fucking bizarre, you know? It just draws you in, whatever. So our second video about that got pulled from YouTube for hate speech. Did we say this? I guess because we said we advised somebody to kill themselves is what I'm thinking the reason was. We also made a phone call in that video, which is one of the funniest things that's ever happened on this show. Ever.
And maybe we'll just re-upload that part.
I should re-edit it and try to put it back up. It was a hilarious video, and people, here's the thing. In all these gang stalking videos on YouTube, we discovered this after that. There's tons of people that just leave their phone number. Who would do that other than a truly lonely individual, who a lot of these people probably are? And that's the other thing. We said over and over in that video, look, we do have sympathy for people with mental conditions like this, but it is also hilarious. And people are like, well, how could you have no sympathy? Like, I don't know what show you're listening to, but whatever. People don't argue logically for the most part. We know that. But so...
Well, basically every...
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, the phone numbers. So a lot of these people will just leave their phone number like, hey, if you're having a gang stalking problem, call me. We should start doing that, actually. If you're having this problem, that problem, and you want to talk. So people just put their phone numbers in YouTube comments all over these fucking videos. I've actually collected about 6 of them, and I have them saved here in my telephone. And we might use those in the future, because here's the thing too. I know that we didn't violate...
Some of them are hot.
We didn't violate any laws. Okay, we recorded a conversation that we had with a woman in Hawaii, and both Hawaii and Louisiana are one-party consent states, which means, as far as I can understand, and I ain't no, fancy big city lawyer, but it seems to me that the law states that if one participant of the conversation is aware that it's being recorded, that it's legal. So I know that sounds a little weird, but a lot of states are like that. Basically you can't record 2 other people's conversation, but you can record someone else talking to you without telling them that you're recording, apparently, especially if you're not going to sell it for anything. But if you just want to publish it...
Which you did.
And sometimes it depends on whether or not it's deemed to be in the public interest. I think it is, and I could make the case that, look, we're exposing a deep, network of weird, creepy... it's like an online homeless shelter, kind of, is what it's sort of like. It's like, we talked about how,
not even a good enough description.
Everybody has had this experience with some crazy homeless person who's rambling on about how the entire world conspired against them and ruined their life and blah blah blah, and you're just like, okay, and it's basically that. It's those people. But so yeah, the phone call, I don't think we violated any laws. I don't think it was that. But I'm kind of afraid to re-upload it if we get it wrong. And it was something we didn't even think of that got it pulled, then we'll have another strike. We already have a strike against our channel now. And by the way, you fucking babies, that wasn't that the most bewildering, crazy reaction you've ever seen to a video before?
It was ridiculous because it was a harmless
we were just having fun with it, whatever. So anyways, that's what happened.
We were just joking. Yeah, people were acting like we were
Yeah, and it's such a weird topic.
Admitting to these potential deaths. It was just ridiculous.
Yeah. So whatever. I'll try to figure out what to do with it. Maybe we'll just put it on our website, overdosetalkshow.com. Maybe that's the answer.
Oh, yeah. Well, definitely. Actually, yeah.
And people can just download it if they want. I guess maybe we'll try that.
We should do some shows we couldn't put on YouTube and then just put them up on the website. That'd be cool.
Yeah, so maybe that's the answer with that one. What else?
Yeah. Dude, the other night, I was just, sitting in my room. It was probably, 2 in the morning, and I heard this. It sounded like a smaller animal being just caught by a bigger animal and bitten into and just ripped apart and killed.
Oh, yeah. Was it making that really high-pitched, plaintive wail, sort of?
Yeah, the high, the last gasp, and then it got to the part where it was slowing down, and then it just slowly gives up, and it just gives in to death, and I heard it, and it was just
Well, it's gonna happen to all of us.
Yeah, I think living in a city, you don't hear enough of that, because you live in the country, you hear that all the time.
Yeah, it is creepy. When I lived next to the woods, I routinely heard like coyotes killing something and shit like that. You know, I mean, you do get used to it, and then you don't really care anymore. But it is a little bit creepy. You probably heard a rabbit being eaten by a coyote or a fox or something.
That's what I think it was.
Yeah.
Too.
And foxes, too. You know what's weird? Foxes will run around. I didn't really know this till I lived in that house by the woods, but sometimes what you think when you're hearing coyotes, you're hearing like a pack of foxes, I guess, as I understand it. And they make a real weird, like doggish kind of howly sound sometimes.
What the hell is this, dude?
I'm gonna play some fox sounds. Let's see.
Well, this isn't fox sound. Is that a commercial?
No, this is just the background for the fox sounds. This is what you need. You can't just have fox sounds. You need a little
excuse me.
Little piano in the background. Alright, now get to screaming, fox. There he goes. Turn this down.
Louder.
See? Yeah, that's a fucking creepy kind of sound. It's just fucking yelling, standing on a sidewalk, just yelling at nothing.
Should we do fox poetry?
Stupid ass fox.
You wanna rap over this?
I'm just ignoring you.
Okay.
Yeah, but then they'll make a different sound in packs. I don't know. Whatever.
That was a weird sound. I didn't know that's what foxes sounded like.
That's honestly one of the things they sound like. There's others. They're very tricky.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you don't see many foxes. They're one of the cooler animals, I think, to see. Like, I think a fox is very interesting looking.
Yeah, unless you got small pets around.
Why? Because they'll eat them.
Yeah, they'll fight them. They'll kill them. I don't think they usually like.
Not mine. Mine are tough.
I don't think foxes really hunt like cats, but they'll view them as like a competitive predator. So they'll fight them, and they've been known to kill them before. Actually,
my cat did come home with a gash on its like back of its neck one time.
Yeah, probably mouthed off to a raccoon or something.
Yeah,
them wild animals, you know, there's a lot to be said for being tough all year round outside like that. I don't think any indoor animal could fuck with any outdoor animal.
I know, really that's why, like, it's...
I mean, unless there's a significant size difference, but, like any
like
animal of a similar size that grew up inside, nice pampered life, laying on the fucking couch, having things brought to it, people talking to it, petting it, and, no way it can take a fox. There's no way.
Right.
I hate to be an animal. It sucks.
Yeah, and I hate those people that, like, say they'd like to be an animal.
We're taking a hard stance on that.
Yeah.
Fuck anybody that wants to be an animal.
Like, what do you want to be? Something that can't form a sentence, let alone a word?
Why don't you just be a Republican?
Oh!
We're so much cooler.
Watch out, you might replace that South African guy on Comedy Central.
Yeah, it's almost as good. Yeah, that guy, God, better. Man, is that guy not funny, huh? Trevor Noah?
Trevor Noah is so unfunny.
I mean, he's probably had a couple of good jokes or something, but man, every time I've seen him, I'm like, ugh, God.
And it's funny how, like, he talks about all the racism in America, and he completely ignores do you know what's going on in South Africa? The racism
right at this moment?
People?
Let me pull up the live stream.
No.
Oh.
Okay, so South Africans.
Well, yes, we've talked about.
No, they're
the
being
apartheid
like,
state and such, yes. Rhodesia, South Africa, places like this, yes. Nothing. Of course, there's a horrible history of racism there. But you know what? A lot of white nationalists are like, South Africa is the canary in the coal mine. The blacks are taking it over. Like, do you really look at it that way? Are you being serious? Like, dude.
There are brutal murders of, like, they're just going onto farms with white people and just like torturing them.
Oh, yeah, no, I understand that, but are they taking over a European society, or are they basically taking back their own society? That's my point.
Yeah. Their stances on some of those things just don't make sense.
There was a giant church massacre in in South Africa a few years back too. We've talked about, and I think it was black on white.
Dude, South Africans are some of the funnest people I've ever hung out with. Honestly, I had a really fun night hanging out with a group of South Africans.
So that must mean they're all just like them.
Well, no, not at all. These were clearly very wealthy white South African kids, and I met them in Amsterdam. I was in a 6-bed room, and it was I was traveling alone, and it was 5 South African dudes, and then in another room they had 4 chicks with them, and I went out and hung out with a bunch of South Africans, and they learn the language Afrikaans in South Africa.
Sure.
That's the secondary language there. So, and that's very similar to Dutch, which is what they speak in Amsterdam. So they got us into this cool underground club in Amsterdam, and they were pretty fun. They partied hard. They were cool. Sorry, was that story as bad too?
You just made the show end.
Oh my god.
Oh, you're just not a storyteller, I don't think.
I guess I never was.
No.
What is that in the background?
I just Are you happy now? Huh?
I'm not happy.
Some guy
Does it make you
talking.
feel better? Of course it makes you feel better. What am I saying?
No.
Guy talking to his fox.
Fuck his fox.
It's pretty cute. Nice little fox. He's getting into mischief.
No, stop.
He's biting the plunger.
I think
not food.
I think the concussion really affected my performance.
Yeah,
on the
sure.
show.
You don't even have a concussion. Fox
No,
just threw the
I
plunger
did.
on the ground.
I definitely had a concussion.
He's carrying it around like a
That's
toy.
the reason I was rambling tonight.
Why do you want the plunger, Fox? He's running away with it. This is a good fox.
Okay,
Is that cool to burp on mic?
Ew, don't bite the rubber part.
I think you just threw it at me.
Yuck. Fox, that's been in the toilet.
Stop.
What are you doing, Vinny?
If I had a fox, I would name it Molder. Bye, everybody.
Mulder. That's good.
Shut up.
Catch you later.
Shut up.
No comment from the peanut gallery.
You're so angsty.
I'm gonna try to get the plunger.
Oh, this is
I
good.
got the plunger. Yay, buddy. I love you. No, don't eat
Later, everybody.
We said goodbye a long time ago.
I thought it was.
No.
Yeah, but just stop talking, and then I could have had the nice clean music to fade out of, and just the guy talking to the
it's
fox.
Really, have you ever played a game with someone?
No,
and-
I don't
and
play
they-
games.
Don't pee on my phone, buddy. Please.
Vinny,
What?
have you ever played a game with somebody and they didn't explain the rules with you before the game, and they and
Yeah,
they get
you know what
mad
the
at you,
game was
then they
called,
get mad at
Alex?
you, and
It
they
was a
get mad at
game
you.
called Life. And you know
They
what?
get-
I found my way.
It's radio. No. And then they just get mad at you that you don't know certain things.
No,
that
do
they've
not get the
never
bowl.
told you
Oh yeah,
before.
because somebody taught
I
me.
know.
Shut up.
So frustrating.
You're the one running the show. You're steering the ship.
Oh my god, dude. Shut up. You're just exhausting.
Oh,
No, don't eat the bowl. No, don't eat the bowl. No.
I'm exhausted.
You play with the bowl. Just don't eat the bowl.
This is the
No.
worst.
Oh, where are you taking the ball? I'm bringing it.
Can you imagine if this was a show? If this was a whole show is just people talking to foxes and piano? It's kind of cool, actually. Alright, the fox is playing with the bowl. What are we doing? Alright. Yeah.
Stop. No, don't take the bowl. Don't take the bowl. No.
I might do this as a podcast.
No. Do not eat that.
No.
Dude, this fox is a pain in the ass. All it does is fuck shit up.
Fucking fox.
Just turn on the water. What an asshole. He's knocking everything over.
Buddy, what's wrong?
Now he's laying by the door crying. Oh, I want to go out. Ugh. Dude, if that thing just wanted to hurt you, it could easily do it. If it just decided all of a sudden, fuck this guy, and rip your ear off.
No.
Yeah. Alright, well, if we're done, I'm going to bed, dude.
Yeah, we've been done. I don't care. This is just...
I was exhausted that whole fucking show.
Okay.
No, you're
See you
not
later,
going to
man.
go in the door.
Alright, so we're done?
Yep. Bye.
Okay.
Muted him.
Okay.
Now let's get back to the fox and the piano.